Focusing on XRP, since you are closely tied to that specific token, in July, XRP hit a new all-time high of $3.65. What do you think was behind the move, and what would it take for XRP to surpass that record?
XRP, for one, is the only idle asset in the space, right? It's one of the very few assets, and by far the biggest asset, that has no native yield. So actually, the fact that it hit such high prices is impressive in and of itself, right? It's by far the highest idle asset to hit this market cap, which also provides an opportunity. But, XRP, the whole ecosystem has a lot of support. Obviously, there is Ripple, which is a separate entity, but it's a core driving force behind the ecosystem. They are literally acquiring some of the biggest startups in finance. They're building an empire, and they have a lot of firepower to keep acquiring companies and build out their stack. Their stack is leveraging the XRPL, which is the underlying technology that powers XRP. So I think a lot of this drive is just driven by everything that Ripple is doing. They have a lot in the works, building a lot of new products, building a full stack solution with all the different companies they're acquiring. And I think people are just expecting that they're going to bring a lot of value back to the XRP and to the XRPL, right? So in my mind, that's a very key part of that. Just having Ripple as part of the ecosystem, I think, would be a booster for any token, and particularly for XRP.
The CEO of Axelar pointing out that XRP really to date's been fighting an uphill battle. Among its contemporaries, it's the singular asset that hasn't had a way to participate in DeFi and to earn yield, something that investors are really going to demand, and that's changing quickly. Of course, with Flare, we have a fully decentralized DeFi system that you can leverage to earn yield on your XRP holdings. We have fund options like MXRP that uses a custodian and a manager to earn yield on your behalf. We have an XRP DeFi ecosystem being built in front of our eyes with options like the EVM Sidechain and direct programmability directly on the mainnet. This, you're going to stack that on top of everything we already have. This should lead to explosive value creation as we move forward. An exciting future that is vastly different than anything we have seen to date is right in front of us here. Now, we see Vet posting the following. Evernorth now has 261 million XRP. Ripple's made 2 contributions. Chris Larson has contributed 50 million XRP. And Uphold has contributed 199,000. Now, understand this. To start this fund off, this 1 billion XRP digital asset treasury, this is people that are contributing XRP they already have. But the idea is they're going to take this XRP, this treasury of XRP, and earn a yield off of it with CEO Ashish Birla. And those earnings are going to be used to perpetually buy more XRP. So this fund, this $1 billion fund, is going to continue and continuously buy more XRP at market, not from Ripple, not from other holders, but at market, at spot prices. This should really be a driver of value creation once they get this thing up and running. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you are new for daily crypto updates. Really important. Make sure you hit subscribe. Just in, Coinbase, Ripple, and Gemini listed as donors of President Trump's $300 million White House ballroom. Look, the crypto industry, serious about sticking around, getting what we need done, accomplished here. And this is how the game's played. Whether it's right or wrong, money buys influence. This is what your banks have been doing since the beginning of time to get their monopoly. Well, that monopoly is going to be broken wide open. And part of that is due to crypto spending. The other side of it is the capabilities, being able to build out this financial system of the future. But, this is what it's at. You're going to have to make those contributions to the current regime, and whoever the next regime is, they will do the same. This is how the game is played. This is nothing different than what JP Morgan does, and defense contractors. You're going to see this continue to happen. But we're on the inside now. We have people on our side, contributing for our interest here. Now, this is why it's so important. We talk about this from time to time, but the ETF, it's a way for your big investors to get into this space. And so this report, it was made up by Ernst & Young, of course, one of your big 4 accounting firms, and also Coinbase. And they went to big institutional investors. We're talking about hedge funds, family offices, stuff like this. And first and foremost, their preferred way to invest in crypto is through ETFs. They don't want to custody the stuff themselves, even if they can, because there's a lot of risk there. They could lose their crypto holdings. They want ETFs. So as we get ETFs approved here, which as soon as this shutdown is over, that should happen, it leaves another path forward for these big time investors to put significant allocation of capital into this space. But furthermore, most of these hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, and one other cryptocurrency. Usually they have some exposure to another crypto beyond just the top two. And of course, you see from this chart here, XRP is number one, Solana's number two. You want to be up in the top, assets here. And that's important to have an ETF and be a top asset, because they're not going to dig down to asset number 300, right? Like, they're just investing in the top ones. Of course, AVAX, all your top ones have some exposure here from institutional investors, but XRP, having an ETF and being a top coin is very, very, very important here. Be careful. One of my buddies sent me this letter today. Looks very official. He got it in the mail. It's from Ledger, and it says, hey, here's this QR code. Make sure you scan it, update your wallet. If you do this, this is a hacker. And if you connect your wallet and then you scan this QR code, it's going to give them, I'm sure, access to your computer. So be very careful. They're getting quite advanced here, how they attack you. And this one's through the mail, believe it or not. That's some scary stuff, because I know a lot of people will open this up and go, wow, Ledger just wants to contact me. Oh, no, that ain't Ledger. Never scan a QR code. Just stop scanning QR codes. It's not a good idea. But that's a novel way to attack you that I haven't seen before. We also saw an XRP investor that lost $3 million in XRP. And of course, somehow hackers got access to that and took all his funds. Really feel bad for this investor, of course. This is the deal, though. Anyone can make a mistake. Everyone thinks, oh, well, I know better than that. Everyone makes mistakes. You got to really spread out your risk here. Keep a little bit on exchanges. Have a couple crypto wallets. If you have money like this, do not keep it all in one spot, because it's very easy to make one little mistake and then you're cooked. You really got to be careful, because that can happen to anyone. You think it couldn't, and it absolutely can. I promise you this. We see 2025 Global Adoption Index. India and the United States lead cryptocurrency adoption. I've talked about this. It's not about the easy territories. Traditionally, US, India, China, those are the toughest ones. Once we start making progress there, though, and we are, and we will continue to do so, that's when it's game over. Because you can't stop progress. No country's going to be able to say, hey, we're going to stay out of this game. You have to adopt cryptocurrencies to participate in the future of finance. And so it's just a foregone conclusion. It's just, when did they capitulate? And we're seeing that happen today as we speak. CZ today was pardoned by the president. I've been critical of CZ at times in the past, but we see Elizabeth Warren saying CZ pleaded guilty to criminal money laundering charges and was sentenced to prison. But then he financed President Trump's stablecoin and lobbied for a pardon, and today he got it. I have a hard time with this one, because if Elizabeth Warren's against it, I'm almost for it automatically. I think CZ, of course, broke some laws. I think he knew it. Should he have been pardoned? Probably not. It's just hard with how they went after the crypto industry, not to root for this type of thing. I'm going to just kind of stay out of it. But Fidelity adds Solana support. So Fidelity, for a long time, they've been allowing people to directly invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now they add Solana. This is important as they expand their offering to broader altcoins, of course, as we go forward. Lastly, despite government shutdown, crypto market structure bill is 90% there, says Coinbase CEO. This is one of the most important aspects here. We got to get this done. We have to protect the future of crypto, and I really hope they get it done this year, because next year's going to be tough. It's an election year. They're going to be focused on other things. We got to see it happen now, and it just may. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link. First of all, make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. That's most important. But secondarily, get yourself a hat. My buddy Billy, the XRP Cowboy, got himself one. He loves it, rocking it every day. The Locked In XRP hat. Now, beyond that, down below will be a link to an X page for 3 big waves. It's a new podcast by Crypto Eddie and myself. And we have a great interview next week about Near. You're going to want to catch that. Make sure you subscribe to the X profile and get ready, because this is going to be a big one. Near is one of the best protocols out there for chain abstraction. That's really the future of this space. If you want to do something on XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever chain you want. You shouldn't have to think about the path. It should just happen. That is precisely what Near is doing and a whole lot more. One of the most capable blockchains out there. You don't want to miss this one. Again, 3 big waves, Crypto Eddie, myself, new podcast coming out next week. Give us a follow on X. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, though. Get yourself a hat. Talk to you again here soon.
Now, going back to MXRP, can you take us through how this liquid staking token works and what are some of the benefits for holders?
Well, the benefit is simple. XRP has existed for about 10 years. There is no simple way for users to earn yield on XRP, right? You can go to Solana, you can stake your Sol, you can earn 7%. On ETH, you can stake your ETH, you can earn 2-3%. On XRP, you could never generate yield on top of it, right? And this is actually a shame because it is one of the highest, the most liquid assets in the space, but there is no way, historically, there has been no way to take this value and convert it into yield. So it's very impressive that XRP has grown so much despite this inherent opportunity cost that you assume for holding XRP. And we're looking to change that. So we launched this initiative to bring more value to the XRPL. One of the first products that launched on top of our platform was MXRP, and it is the first on-chain asset that allowed users to earn 10% yield on their XRP. So by passively holding XRP over a year, of course, there are risks involved. You can earn 10% on your XRP, and XRP holders love their XRP. They don't like to sell it. So if you hold for 6-7 years into MXRP, you will end up with twice as much money as you would otherwise, right? Assuming, of course, like the returns continue over the years. So it's a very simple value proposition, and we need more of these products in order to onboard the world on chain. Because if you have assets that you cannot use productively, you cannot earn yield on, people will just much rather hold dollars and other currencies, right? So you need a good reason for people to come on chain and also hold their dollars on chain. I think yield is going to be the key driver for this kind of movement.